All right. Hey, how's it going? Mr. Deadman here of Hard Talk Radio. I want to talk a little bit, do a quick, I don't know how quick this can be, a review of Fear Street Part 2, 1978. Now, I did a review of Fear Street Part 1, 1994, and I said that I thought that movie was a sloppy mess for a slasher, and I like slashers, and I stand by that. If Fear Street Part 1, 1994 was a standalone movie without any of these additional movies to kind of explain some of the plot holes or some of the things that just were not explained, it would not be good. It would not be a good, competent slasher, and it could have been. It could have been. They looked like they were trying to make it like a 90s slasher, like Scream, but instead of doing that, and let me highlight something here. And I'm going to give out spoilers and everything from Fear Street Part 1 and probably Part 2, okay? If you don't like spoilers, don't listen to this review. But the reason why you check out these reviews anyway is because you're curious, is it any good? Okay. I wasn't a huge fan of Part 1. I thought it was a sloppy mess. Okay. In a 90s slasher like Scream, there's a mass murder, right? And the way Part 1 was framed, and in the trailer and everything, was that there is murder capital of the world, of America. So mass murders are going to happen. And I thought that was what the premise is going to be, that our circle of teens are going to have to run away from these mass murderers, and they're trying to have to figure out who they are, what's going on. But it's none of that. None of that happens. In fact, none of that happens because within the opening title sequence of the Part 1, it gives it away that it's a witch. And then after that, one of our first characters, not our first character, but our second character we're introduced, the nerd of the group, explains that it's the witch and has it nailed down that it's the witch. And seems to be pretty confident that, yeah, the witch is back, the witch is doing it. Even the school is on board. Other students at the school, yeah, the witch is back, the witch is doing it. The witch is back. Which is like, okay, so which could have been used still to kind of as a backdrop for a kind of a mystery 90s slasher like Scream, where we're like, okay, we think it's the witch, but these murders are still happening. Is it really the witch? Who's really doing it? All this stuff. But that doesn't happen. That doesn't happen in 1994. You thought it was going to happen. It had a chance to happen, but they solved the mystery way too soon. They solved it within the first act. So the rest is, oh, now our circle of teenagers or whatever are trying to survive, but they're not really being chased down and killed. Only one of them's being chased down and killed because of the blood, her blood, because she bled on the witch's burial ground, apparently, she was buried like on top soil, like they didn't have to dig to get to her body, which is insane. So it's like, okay, and we're talking about a 300-year-old skeletal remains that would have been picked up by dogs or all other animals anyway. And, come on, man, come on. Part 1 could have been a whole lot better. Part 2 is a lot better. In fact, let me tell you, Fear Street Part 2, 1978, this could be a standalone horror film. If you were to cut out the little beginning that kind of ties in 1994 with it, and then the last bit, bam, it could have been its own standalone horror film. It was good. It was good. It was a lot better than the first one. And I think the reason why it was a lot better, because it didn't have the convoluted mess. And let me emphasize a point. I don't think I made it clear. In 1994, in the Part 1, 1994 Fear Street, we thought, when you watched the movie, that the mass murderers are going to be killing our teenagers that were watching, that were supposed to follow and care about. No, they're not going after them, because they're going after Sam and anyone who has Sam's blood. However, at the same time, they will happen to kill random people that aren't our circle of teenagers for reasons that aren't explained. Why they would kill them and not other people? I don't understand. And the part 2, it doesn't have that. That doesn't happen until like the last act. And honestly, the way that's kind of explained is kind of the main character kind of jumps to a conclusion. It's like, how did you get there? What made you think that? But it was a competent killer, a slasher movie. It was pretty much. Have you ever seen Friday the 13th? It's kind of like that. It's like Friday the 13th Part 2, where Jason's going around killing people. When he first goes around and kills people, and is wearing that burlap sack. It's like that. So it takes place at a Camp Nightwing. Okay, there's a lake there. I think you see a glimpse of it, but not much happens. Anyway, it takes place at a camp. You have camp counselors, and you have, I guess, camp students, camp goers, camp kids. They're there, and so there's 2 towns that are rivals in the one area. You have the shady side, the Sunnyvale. Sunnyvale's kind of interesting. What would you do? Sunnyvale. You ever seen Trailer Park Boys? I swear on part 1, when it showed me Sunnyvale, I was like, Sunnyvale? Like the trailer park? In Trailer Park Boys? What are we talking about? Huh. Okay. Yeah, we're introduced to one of our main characters. She's the redhead from Stranger Things, the redhead girl, and they think she's the witch. These other kids are harassing her pretty badly. Like they're tying her up to a tree. They're about to set her on fire. They're hazing her hardcore. They are bullying her. They're messing her harsh. To the point where she almost gets kicked out of the camp, which would be a problem for her older sister, who needs to, work there for, I guess, to earn money, to give money so she can go to college. Okay. Already, a pretty good beginning, because it sets up the premise that, hey, there's a thing by the legend of the witch here. They're calling her the witch bitch. Okay. Then, one of our main girls, her boyfriend, we see him. He seems normal. Seems fine. Nothing wrong with him. In fact, everything seems fine until was it the nurse Lane. When they find that she's been looking at some witch stuff. The person who finds is the redhead from Stranger Things. The redhead girl. So she finds that, this nurse is into this witch stuff. What is the witch mark? The mark of the witch. What is this stuff? What's going on here? Looking into that. And then, and if you watched our first movie, you kind of already have an idea what's going on. But if you didn't, it wouldn't even matter anyway. I'm saying, like, this thing could stand on its own. And really, like, if you watch the second one and rewatch the first one, man, they could have done the first one so much better. Anyway, I think what they did better in the second one that they failed to do in the first one was explain really the progression of someone being possessed. Like in the first one, it happened so fast. Like in the opening sequence, where the opening sequence of the first one, 1994, when the chick is closing down, when the girl's closing down her shop, her bookstore, she sees her boyfriend, no problems, or is some exchange, gonna pick you up later on. Okay, we'll pick you up. We'll see you later on. He seems normal-ish, But then later on, he's a homicidal killer. What happened? What happened? You know, why so fast? 1978 does it so much better. You see, Nurse Lane, she knows about the witch because her daughter was possessed by the witch. She believes her daughter was possessed by the witch to go on a killing spree. Kill 8 people. Apparently this town has a huge problem with people dying. And it's a small town, so I don't understand how the town keeps its population up. Keep killing the young like that. How do you even have a population? Anyway. So when she finds out about this, she finds out that the boyfriend, his name is written on the wall, apparently somewhere. Like we don't know what she's going to talk about yet, but I saw your name written on the wall. You're it. You're going to die tonight one way or the other, so I'm just going to do it now. She's going to go kill him. Doesn't work. It throws her off. He doesn't die. He's not being attacked or harassed by any of the, I guess, the witch's demons or mass murderers or whatever. No, he's slowly hearing the voice, some voice calling to him, like some demonic voice. And he's slowly losing his senses and becoming possessed. That's it. That's great. And after that, he goes on a relentless killing spree. That's just great. It could be better. It could have been better. I know, I guess for Netflix, showing the kids actually being killed would probably be a little too much. You know, some horror films are willing to show that in certain ways. Because that's what he's doing. He's going around killing all these kids. If you ever played Friday the 13th for NES, it's a lot like that. The camp counselor is going around trying to protect the kids while you have this guy running around with an axe trying to kill all the kids and trying to kill everybody. I like the characters more in this one, in 1978. I like them more. I thought some of the melodrama was a little too long, but I guess it was worth it because I actually cared about these characters. I will say though, another spoiler warning, I suppose. I will say, since it's tied into the first one, they do gotcha on who you think is. Who do you think, I guess, the final girl is? Who do you think the survivor is? Which I thought was kind of silly. Because the person telling the story she didn't look like a redhead to me. She looked like a brunette. But apparently, when she was younger, here you have it. She was the redhead. What? The whole time I thought she was the brunette. I mean, that's kind of what you're led to believe. But that's we got you. We got you, didn't you? We got you, huh? Or didn't we? Yeah, we got you. You didn't see that one coming. Huh. Where'd it go? Yeah, you got me. I didn't see that one coming because you fuckers, you should just fuck with me. You know, that's what they. But overall, the movie's better. It's a lot better than the first one. A lot better than the first one. I think the supernatural element was handled a lot better. Okay, and they even have characters that I thought I wasn't gonna like these two kind of like dope heads, druggy characters or whatever. I didn't think I was gonna care for them. They seem kind of like trashy characters or whatever, but you kind of do afterwards to kind of explain. You kind of get a little bit more of their story. And you kind of want to see them make it through, but then of course, everyone, and it's so predictable. The character does a little monologue speech about how they want to see this thing all the way through to the end. And you know they're gonna die. You know they're gonna die, and they die. I think what's kind of weak in the second one is that you already know certain characters are going to survive. Like, one of the camp counselors, his name is Good. His last name is Good. He later on becomes the sheriff of the town. So you know he's going to survive. Of course, he survives. He does get axed, though. He does get injured. That's good. And the actual killing scenes, I thought they were pretty good. The pretty intense. Like when they have the axe make an impact on the flesh, on the skin. Yeah. I was like, ooh, that's solid. That's good stuff. But so you have the boyfriend who's possessed. They manage to take down the boyfriend, the possessed boyfriend, in this movie. And it looked like he's down for good. He's not coming back up or anything like that. So it's like, okay, wait, what's up now? Looks like he's dead. Then someone discovers the witch's hand and realizes that they have to connect the witch's hand, have to reunite it back with the witch's buried body that we saw in the first movie. And I believe that the remains were buried, around this tree. So, okay. It just happens to be that one of the girls, the redhead girl, starts having a nosebleed, and conveniently a nosebleed, and bleeds on the skeletal hand. So if you watch the first one, you know the whole thing about the blood on the skeletal remains. Now the witch is honed onto you. That happens once again in this movie, in the final act. And it's like, well, why? What? It's like, once it happens, then the boyfriend comes back to life. Then you see this thing that's brooding underground. It's like this weird heart-looking thing. It's pumping. It's growing. This cancerous tumor thing. And it's forming these organic versions, duplications of things it has killed in the past. Sending them out to take on the redhead girl, because she bled on the hand. Now, we know that. Now, how her sister figured that one out, I'm not too sure. But she jumped to that conclusion, and she even said it. Like, oh, they're not coming for me. They're coming for you. See, after the boyfriend gets up and takes out the stoner chick, the druggy chick, they go to run and take the skeletal hand to where they presume the body's buried. And they dig it under the tree, and when they're digging, there are all these cool like car icons are advancing towards them. They're digging to the ground, and they find a hole with the rock that says the witch's curse will live forever, or whatever. The witch lives forever. No skeletal remains. So it's like, oh no, where are the remains? Oh no, we're stuck here. And then you have all these things. And then that's when she goes, no, they're not after me, they're after you. I don't know how she figured that out. I don't know how. But she tells her to run. She doesn't get far. They both get slaughtered right there. They both get slaughtered. Yeah, one of them survives, which is insane. because the type of injuries they sustain, I wouldn't think either one of them would survive. Huh. But I'm not going to fault the movie for that. Because that's kind of a given in horror movies that you'll sustain heavy injuries, and if you're the chosen one, if you're supposed to be the final girl or whatever, if you're going to be the one who makes it all the way through, you're going to make it through. So fine, I'm okay with that. And then we get back to 1994. Back to its characters. And once again, I was reminded about how kind of haphazard 1994 is. So, in 1978, the 1978 one, she before the two girls died, they managed to bury the hand in the ground next to the tree where the witch was hung. This tree, where's this tree at in 1994? It's in the mall. It's in the mall. Like, built like as if the mall was built around this tree, which it's just strange for a mall construction, which would normally be like demolish everything, build, and then plant trees inside. But no, this tree was left intact. Okay. All right. And built like this elaborate, this convincing looking mall around it. Okay. Not only that, but the buried hand was left there. And I mean, I know that there's some bizarre things where, under a school or a building, there's like skeletal remains. So, sure, I guess I could be whatever on that one. But I did kind of find it a little convenient. Either way, they dig that hand. They take it to the skeletal remains of our witch. And then we get to 1666, which I haven't seen yet. So I'll check that out. I mean, overall, like I said, I think part 2 is a lot better than part 1. Man, my review for part 1 was not good. It was not. I did not like it. And I tell you what I would have done differently. If I was going to do a 90s style slasher, like Scream, that's what I would have done. And then do the possession thing at the end of the movie as, wait, what's this? What's going on now? Oh, the witch does more. It's not what you think. It's not just maniac slashers. There's something more to this. Keep it basic. Okay? Don't overly complicate things in the beginning. Keep it basic and gradually build upon it. If you want to have a 90s style slasher with a bunch of teenagers in high school, you could easily do that. They've been done before. They're really good if you do them well. Yeah, they had the settings and everything. They could have had the teenagers running for their lives, being chased down by the mass murderers as they're coming around, hunting them down, hunting people at school. I mean, for a place that's supposed to be a murder capital of America, there wasn't really a lot of murders going on, not necessarily in the first one. Not really. So people are like, what? But there were dead bodies. Conveniently, I mean, our main teenagers, they weren't even being targeted, were they? Why was that? Convenient for them, right? Like plot armor. What do you want to call it? It's kind of weird. But yeah, that's what I would have done. I think that would make the first one better. But so if I was going to recommend this, I would recommend this one. This one I would recommend. But the first one, not so much. Anyway, I just want to do a quick review. Just live stream it, just one take, bam, done. And yeah. Anyway, y'all take it easy. You have a good one.